I spent the first 30 years of my life building a perfect cage, and then I handed the key to everyone but myself. It was a beautiful cage, you understand. Polished and respectable, built from the sturdy wood of expectation and the gleaming steel of conformity. I was Elias, the dependable accountant, the dutiful son, the friend who always said yes. My life was a checklist of other people's dreams, and I had ticked every box. I owned a sensible house, drove a reliable car, and attended every family gathering with a polite, practiced smile. Yet, inside this perfect life, my own soul was starving. A hollow echo answered me in the quiet moments, a profound emptiness that no amount of praise or approval could ever fill. I was a ghost haunting the corridors of a life that looked like mine but belonged to everyone else. The first crack in my cage came from my oldest friend, Leo. He was the opposite of me, a wild, unpredictable storm of a man who lived by his own compass. One evening, after I had turned down a weekend hiking trip to help my cousin move for the third time, he looked at me with a sad, knowing gaze. "You're so terrified of disappointing the world, Elias," he said, his voice softer than usual. "But you've forgotten that the one person you should never disappoint is staring back at you in the mirror. Their prison is temporary. Yours is a life sentence." His words were a stone cast into the still, stagnant waters of my heart, and the ripples disturbed everything. Seeking clarity, I began taking long walks, which led me to the quiet garden of a retired professor, a wise old man named Mr. Alistair. He found me one afternoon staring at a beautifully crafted ceramic vase on his patio, a piece of art marred by a long, jagged crack down its side. He noticed my gaze and smiled. He picked up a watering can and poured water into it, only for it to stream out of the crack and onto the stone below. "You see, my boy," he said gently, "you are this vase. You spend all your energy trying to fill your life with the water of other people's expectations, but your soul has a crack. It was never meant to hold what wasn't yours. The water just drains away, leaving you empty." He then set the can down. True fulfillment isn't about plugging the cracks to hold more of what others pour in. It's about filling the vase with something that belongs inside it, light, perhaps, or a single, wild bloom that thrives in its unique, imperfect shape. He looked me directly in the eyes, and his next words struck me to my core. "So tell me, what is the heavier burden? To be called selfish by those who only want a piece of you, or to carry the weight of betraying yourself every single morning you wake up?" In that moment, I knew. I had been carrying the weight of self-betrayal for so long it had become part of my bones. That evening, I went home, walked into my garage, and uncovered the dust-filled boxes of my childhood. Inside were my old wood carving tools, a passion I had been told was a messy hobby with no future. I picked up a block of reclaimed oak, and as the first curl of wood peeled away under my blade, I felt a spark of warmth I hadn't felt in decades. I quit my job. My family was dismayed. Some friends ridiculed my choice, calling it a foolish crisis. But for the first time, the noise of their disapproval was a distant hum, drowned out by the quiet, joyful song of my own heart. I carved not for praise or for profit, but for the sheer love of watching a forgotten piece of wood be reborn into something beautiful. My life is no longer a polished cage. It's a small, dusty workshop filled with the scent of cedar and sawdust, and it is more magnificent than any life I could have faked. My hands are calloused, but my spirit is smooth. I am not wealthy, but I am rich in purpose. Over time, the ridicule from my community softened into curiosity, and then into a quiet respect. People saw the life in my sculptures because they saw the life in me. I learned that when you build your life to please an audience, you end up with an empty stage. But when you build it from the truth within your own heart, you don't just find your own purpose. You become a lighthouse, and others, lost in their own seas, might just find their way by your light.